Hey everybody, welcome to Ref Time, powered by RTS and produced by Coraggio Media. I'm Tanya.
And I'm Crane. We'll be covering rules, plays, points of emphasis, and all things official. Ray Moore, it's the great Ray Moore in the house. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for joining us on Ref Time. We really appreciate you coming down. Came all the way from sunny
Van Wert, Ohio.
Van Wert,
Is
Ohio.
it sunny there?
Yes, it is. Finally.
All right. Well, as we told you, Ray, we love having you on. We're going to talk a little bit about officiating, all things official. So let's start with why you got into officiating.
Well, yeah, I can explain that. But thanks for having me, Crane, Tanya.
Yes,
I actually got in officiating by accident. Back in my younger days, I used to referee at the YMCA, and I was in high school, but I didn't know what it all entailed from officiating. But they were just doing some recruiting in Van Wert, and one of the guys I played ball with in high school, he asked me, "Hey, would you like to be an official?" I said, "We need him." So I said, "Yeah, why not?" I'm not sure what it all entails then. So I actually start taking the classes. This is back in '90, and I got my license as a JV official. I actually was on my way to do my first varsity game the same year. In Ohio, they don't allow that. So, because officials, didn't show because it was an ice storm. Only a few teams played, that night on a Friday night, and so they ended up late because I was ready to go out on the floor, but then I did not get to. But somebody saw me refereeing and says, this guy's a varsity official, his first year. They thought, I was, because he said, yeah, he really knows what he's doing. But,
Nice.
Long story short, I became a varsity official after my second year. And my third year, I was doing a full 60-game schedule, boys and girls. And then that transcended into college basketball because somebody saw me I got invited to a camp. Down in Dayton, and a guy by the name of Jim Horner said that, how many of you guys want to, take this to another level, like to be, college officials. And I'm just kind of like following lead with everybody, I'm raising my hand, yeah. And on the way out, one of my partners from Lima now is in Cincinnati who refs college ball too also. He stopped me and said that, hey, were you really serious about what you said? Raise your hand. He says, I don't think you understood what that was about. I said, not really. He says, listen, you really need to pursue this. You've got all the skills and makings of a college official. And from that point, it took off. 27 years later as a college official, 30 years later as a high school official.
Wow.
It's been a tremendous ride.
Do you do any other sports besides basketball, Ray?
No, I don't, because I made a promise to my wife that I would not do that. She supports only one sport.
One sport, one season.
So I kept my word.
Okay.
Very good.
What would you say is a career highlight for you? If you had to say one thing that was a career highlight, what would it be?
Getting to the Division I level.
Okay.
Yeah, on the East Coast with the MEAC, the Mid-East Athletic Conference. It's the HBCU.
Okay.
A lot of people say that, it's a hard journey. In respects to that, it was. I was just not in the right location. Being an official as myself, being an African American official, it was rather tough. But I never surrendered. I never gave up. I always say, if there's a God, there's a will, there's a way. In fact, I didn't make it to Division I until I was 55.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In fact, I was on my way home from a tournament. In fact, I got in from the MEAC conference. They had tryouts, camp. I went to down in Hampton, Virginia, and then I went to a tournament the following weekend, and then my wife said somebody called you, said about a camp. I said, sweetie, camp's over. This is the end of July. They're getting ready for season coming up. Says, well, you need to call this guy. He left you a voicemail. I said, look, they're not hiring 55-year-olds.
Right.
And then I tell you, I was like, I said, I'm not doing any more tournaments or camps. She said, just call them back. So I ended up calling him back. I said, and when the guy answered, he says, Ray Moore? I said, yes. He says, this is Mr. Larry Rose. I fell to my knees, and he says, welcome to the MEAC.
Wow.
And,
wow.
I tell you, I was in tears. I mean,
Yeah.
I never thought,
Right, especially at 55.
that was going to
Yeah.
happen.
So tell us, Ray, what's your profession now? What do you do now?
Right now, I'm currently retired from Eaton Corporation, which
Okay.
is several other companies, of 37 and a half years. I've been with a company called Shadows Athletics for the last 21 years. We've been working on technology to build footwear far as ankle support.
Okay.
It's called SBP technology, Stability Balance Performance. It's built in the wall of a basketball shoe, which gives added support to the foot and ankle to help cut down on the lateral rolling ankle sprains at certain percentages. Because as you guys know, as an athlete yourself, ankle injury sprains are the number one injury out there. 90% of the injuries are from ankle rolling,
Okay.
and a lot of your injury, that type of injury, things start in the foot and they rise. So, and what we've done over the years, we finally developed a footwear that has the technology built inside of it. So, and now we do have our first basketball shoe, which is ready for market.
Nice.
It soon to be released, coming up here.
Well, we
So
can
my question is, though, are you guys looking at specializing for shoes for officials as well? Or-
Yes.
Okay.
Well, not only just for officials or basketball,
but all
but
athletes.
all sports, all
Yeah.
athletes. So
Very good. Very good. I know I can tell you excited, and we've been talking about
Yeah.
that quite a bit.
yes,
so
we have.
We'll have more conversation. So I want to go into that was a first quarter conversation. Now we got second quarter conversation. Second quarter, dun dun dun. Wish we had a horn, but we don't. Okay. So anyway, rules. What was a pet peeve rule for you? I mean, what did you like to call? What did you not like to call? What was one of those rules that either you loved or you hated, and you just saw it all over and over again? Because she's got hers. Of course, I don't have any because I'm one of those perfect officials. But anyway, go ahead.
I've always been a fan of the block charge.
You've been a fan of the block charge.
Well, because of the ability to be able to get the call right.
Okay. So you like the challenge.
Yeah, I like the challenge
of.
of getting the call right.
Because a lot of officials we've talked to, they don't like it.
Right.
Man, I have a problem with that block charge. I never know which way to go, but you embraced it.
Well, because I embraced it, because I trained every summer. I went to college camps. I even got hired in the Missouri Valley Conference. I didn't get any games, but see, they taught us, positioning.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to be in position to see the play start and how it develops and how it finishes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's starting to lack in today's officiating.
I think that's one of the things that
Yeah.
we, because obviously we train new people, and that's one of the things that we talk to them about is always, trying to advance, going to camps just to learn, just to get
Yeah,
better.
exactly.
Because, yes, game after game is helpful, but if you don't have someone on the sideline, telling you, hey, you're missing this because you're not wide enough, or you're not moving to improve. You're just coming down here and you're taking your spot and you're not moving.
Exactly.
You're backing out too soon, or you're, and so if they're not going to camps to try to improve themselves, then, then they're not gonna get advanced, and they're gonna get frustrated, and so that's a big thing.
I think it's true of just about any profession, just wanting to get better. Because I remember there was a coach in Fort Wayne, Katie, out at Northrop. I was talking to her one day, and you know Katie.
Yeah, I know
I'm sure.
Katie. Yeah.
She said one day, Crane, she said, and the same coach, the same thing came out of the coach at Indiana Tech. Who was that again?
Jesse?
Jesse. They both said similar things. They said, Crane, we just want officials, we just want them to work hard and work to do the best job they can. They both said in different ways, we just can't stand when we have an official who's just out there and going through the motions.
Right.
because we're not going through the motions. Our girls train hard every day to come play in this game. Then we got somebody who's determining calls, and they're just going through the motions. She said that nothing drives me crazier than that. I think most coaches feel that way.
Yeah, and you're right. You're 100%. Both of you are right. Working hard and going through the motions. There's different categories there. Working hard versus hustle. You can break that down in so many ways. I mean, working hard means that you're getting in position
Right.
to be able to make the call. The hustle is hustling to get that perfect angle to see the play. But you got to remember, see it start, because seeing it start is like what started this situation, and then how it develops, because contact is just contact.
Right.
But how it develops is the result of how it's going to finish, because it's not always the way you think it appears. Sometimes you got to allow things to happen so you can get the call right.
Right.
You gotta let the play finish
Yeah,
out.
because I don't see a lot of professionalism even in the men's side as well. Game I watched yesterday at LSU and Iowa. I mean, I've never seen it game get away from officials like that, and so many stoppages. Just trying to get the call right. It's like, where are we going with officiating today? Because everybody wants to go to a college level, and not learn the basics, at the high school level. It takes time to groom.
Now, I have not watched that game, but I was looking online. There was a lot of people who were having a lot of negative things to say about the game, and they're not officials, I can guarantee you.
Right.
And as I was reading that stuff, I was saying to myself, but people are so judgmental when it comes to officials, and the three of us have been in the shoes of officials, obviously, and we know why we call things. So what went through my mind as people were saying this, that, and the other, and about the three being females, is I wonder if it had been males, if people wouldn't have ridden them so hard. I had to wonder that.
Right.
And you got a point there.
Yeah.
You do have a point.
Because it's kind of a sense of familiarity when you're used to seeing a certain group do a certain job, and then you see a completely different group. I think your bias kicks in.
And then all the the hype is, oh, well, we have three female officials,
Right.
so
That
this
comes up
should be a
again and
great
again.
game. They should do perfect.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we're human. We're still gonna make mistakes.
And I haven't seen a perfectly called game yet.
I haven't seen a perfectly called game yet, whether it's men, women, men, and
a
women.
combination. I've never seen a perfectly called game.
I mean, mine was pretty close, but
You were. But I think you were reffing with me, and it kind of messed you up a little bit.
you
Well, it messed up the game, but didn't mess up you.
Right.
Give you something,
I mean, even myself, I've never reffed the perfect game, because
Right.
I've always had my games filmed so I can go back. Of
Right.
course, now they got information you can go back on
Right.
and watch your game,
Right.
and learn from your mistakes. I can't believe I moved like that.
Yeah.
So that helps you. But like you said before, going to a camp and start mastering your skill,
Yes.
your skill set, that entails will help you become a better official.
Yeah.
Anybody can be a referee.
Yep.
If you can blow air through a whistle, but being able to manage, you got to manage the coaches, the players, the crowd,
Yeah.
the score.
There's a lot.
There's so much.
Yeah, people don't realize
involved.
that we're constantly looking at the clock. We're constantly looking at the score. No, by the end of the game, I probably can't tell you who won the game if you give me too much space in between the game being over and me getting dressed and leaving the building. I'm probably not. I don't remember, because we do so many games and people think, oh, well, you care about who wins the game. No, I really don't. I don't care who wins the game.
Right.
That's not my job. My job is to go in there and make sure that both teams have an equal opportunity to win the game. So.
But like for me in the MEAC, after we do a game, we always had evaluators come in
Right.
before the game. We have an hour pregame with the evaluator. We got to explain what's your plan of attack, Ray? And then we go around the room, and some of if you weren't the head referee that I was on cruise with, he will scold you before the game. then you got to know, what you're going to do. If you have some issue that you need help with, you will tell him, I'm going to need help. You help me cover something on this because I'm not quite as good as some officials are in that, and that makes for better. So then during the game, they write stuff down, and they'll come in and they'll either tell you need to work on this better, or they'll tell you guys did an outstanding job.
Now think about all that. The level you were reffing, and then the level these refs were yesterday on that game, and that's a higher level, right?
Yes.
So think about everything you guys went through and the level you were at, and what these 3 female officials had to go through on the level they're at. And I'm sure the issue came up, the fact that they're gender. So when people are evaluating the officials, and again, I didn't watch the game. I'm looking forward to watching it now because I saw this negativity, and I'm going, now I can watch it with a discerning eye and say, okay, I live with 2 officials. I work with 2 good officials that happen to be female. So when I watch this, I can say, okay, Crane, as you're watching this, keep that in mind and don't be so judgmental on these officials just because of the gender. Because I think we do that in our society.
Yeah.
And we don't think we do it, but we do it. And that's a big reason why her and I started doing the school that we're going to talk about, which takes me into halftime commercial.
No.
Okay. Third quarter. I'll let you start.
So we're talking about the fact that to be an official, we've talked about the need of officials. Obviously we need officials, but I don't think we just need bodies, like we were just mentioning. We need people that are willing to get out there and work hard and learn. Get better, try to get better all the time. I mean, we go to camps all the time, throughout the summer. Actually, we just went to a camp in February for the pro semi-pro level, the TBL. And, for me, it was just great to get out there. Whether I were to get picked up or not, it wasn't really my goal. It was just to get out there and,
get introduced
to it. And,
and then that makes us more effective as recruiters and trainers, because now we can tell people what's available. And that we were going after was the TBL, the basketball league, which a lot of people have never heard of that. And Sydney, our daughter's in the TBL. She just got her first 2 games of the season.
She had 3, but one was canceled halfway through because of a tornado warning. So that did actually touch down. So
yeah, but getting out there she's right, getting out there with those people and seeing the level that they expect. A lot of the stuff we heard was the same stuff we've heard at other camps. A little bit of it was brand new. And I went up to one of the trainers. I said, that was excellent.
Yeah, there was some really good training out there.
And he was talking about when you're the trail and using the sideline to officiate and moving in. I said, wow, nobody ever broke that down to me. But think about the number of people that we recruit who get into this I shouldn't say for the wrong reasons, but they come as some extra side money, and we use that as a recruiting tool.
Right. Sure.
And then they stay there. The problem is they stay in that mindset of this is just for extra money.
And no growth.
None.
So
I think a lot of stuff is missing. 2 elements I think is missing from officiating. One is go have some fun.
Yes.
Have fun with this.
Yes.
And 2, you got to learn how to communicate.
Yes.
I mean, there's what we call preparation. Coaches, they prep all week. The players, they practice and prep all week, just to to go out there and to compete. If those kids don't see you have fun, somebody's going to grow some wild hair.
Yeah.
Coaches don't see you have fun, but you got to be able to be approachable.
Yes.
And you're as well. You're responsible as well as a coach is. You got to help these kids because they ask you a question. You got to be able to help them. Let them know what they're doing wrong.
Yeah.
You don't coach them, but you got to communicate and talk with them.
And it's not from my angle. From my position, I'm not saying that I'm coaching them, but I'm telling them what it is that I'm seeing. This is what I'm calling.
You're communicating.
I'm not telling you not to do it. You can keep doing it that way, but I'm probably going to continue to call the foul because this is what I'm seeing you do. So a lot of times, they think, oh, I'm straight up. Yeah, you're straight up here. What's this arm doing down here? Type of thing. And so I think just letting them know, hey, this is what I'm seeing you do.
That's communication.
So
that's exactly.
Yeah, and there are a lot, there's quite a few officials that do seem to be unapproachable. And sometimes I'm probably unapproachable. You know, maybe I've had a bad day. You know, something happened, you know, in an earlier game. And now I'm at my end. Like, don't push any buttons, you know, and that's not fair to them.
Right.
But at the same time, it's not fair to us to have to do, you know, 6,
Yeah.
7 games in a day or whatever, because there aren't enough officials out there, and we get frustrated.
So on that point, Ray, need of officials. What do you think is what can we do better as people that look for and train officials? What can we do better to help fill the need for officials?
I think, first of all, recruiting them and maybe a person like myself that's done it for 30 years, to show them how much fun it can be. You know, I got an advantage, you know, because of, and I think you're prior military.
No, I'm not.
I see. I got an advantage, so the discipline side of getting yelled at,
It's already there.
it's already there. So I have a big advantage over a lot of people. I can take a lot of criticism. It's just how that criticism, what words are you using in the criticism?
Correct.
See, I have to measure all that.
Yeah.
But to let them know, you know, it's fun. But being a mentor, mentors is what's missing.
I would agree. And, you know, when we talk to people in our association about being a mentor, we don't get a lot of positive feedback. And I think the reason for that is a lot of these people are just, their attitude is, I'm doing the best I can to stay involved. Because I think since COVID, I believe that we lost nationwide about 50,000 officials.
Yeah.
That was due
In
to,
all sports.
Yeah. And that was due to retirement, early retirement, just didn't want to deal with it anymore.
Right.
The COVID challenges, aging out. It was just a number of things. But that's a huge loss.
Yes.
And then when I talk to officials now about mentoring, they just look at me with that dead eye.
See,
Well, I think that's where, and we're going to kind of segue into the fourth quarter here, but, you know, with our recruiting and our school, with referee training school, that's one of the things that we look to do is try to, you know, those that we want to recruit are the younger generation. We want to recruit them in so that we can mentor them and get them
with good mentors.
And get them with good mentors.
Because there's only so many people we can mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get them through the class, and then after the class is over, we do some on-court training, and then from there, you know, we're telling them, hey, you know, you need to find somebody that you want to work with, someone that you want to learn from.
But the challenge there is, how do they find somebody? Because we're the only ones they know. And when they go to the gym, they may see other officials, and they say, yeah, him, and we look at each other.
No.
You probably don't
Not
want
that one.
him. And I tell young officials, you can learn from everybody.
Yes.
yeah,
Some officials, you can learn what not to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's you know, mentoring is even in you mentor them, you correct them on how to stand, how to walk,
Yeah.
How to run.
how to run.
Yeah.
Don't be a big guy and then come down to Ray Moore size.
Right.
Don't bend down to the floor.
Yep.
Right.
We had a new recruit that kept doing that, and she, you know,
She
kept
just
kept punching. I was like, "What
she's
are you
hunching
doing?"
over us. And she's tall.
She's
It's like,
tall.
stand
She's
up
taller
tall.
than me.
And she goes, I know, but I'm trying to see. But you don't know how you look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm doing my job. Leave me alone. Okay.
You got to
Yeah.
in officiating. It's always
Presence.
you got to presence. You got to project strength.
Yes.
The way you run, the way you
Yes.
stand,
The way you talk.
how you talk,
How you bark.
You know how your mechanics, how you pop that arm up.
Yeah.
You know, and when you deliver your preliminary signals to the table,
Right.
you know, you got to be able to pop your fingers and, you know, show them that you're very confident
Yes.
You're in charge.
and
Yep.
you're in charge.
Yeah. And that's something that when we train young officials, we try to tell them all that. And
Yeah.
especially, you know, if I have a youngster who is, how shall I say, not as aggressive in their communication style.
Little
we
shy
have,
or,
we had a few
meek.
of those.
In fact, I think you guys probably know of the one official that I actually trained over at Species, Jordan Love.
Oh, yeah.
And see, now look where Jordan's gone
And
to.
Jordan's-
Yes.
He's done very well.
Yes.
Done very, very
Yep,
well. And there's a lot of young people out there that, you know, they want to be the next Jordan Love, so to speak.
Yeah.
And we just tell them, you can
You
do
got-
it. but
You
it's a
gotta
lot
do.
of hard
You gotta
work.
do what the Jordan Loves have
and,
done.
And it's in being in the right place, in the
There's a
right
lot to do
time,
with it.
always it has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Which means you have to be out there all the time.
Yeah.
And we always tell young people, you never know who's watching you.
Never
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
And-
I was gonna
and
say
I've-
that earlier.
And I've got other things to say about all that. You know, maybe in the next segment you have
Yeah.
me. So
yeah.
there's some other
Perfect.
things that I could share.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we're just about at the end of this session, but yeah, we really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks
and
so
as we
much.
Hey, my
said,
pleasure.
There's
Love-
many more things we could talk about.
Yeah, love to come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Well, with that, we'll look forward to seeing you guys again and talking with you guys again. Thanks again, Ray, for coming out.
thank
You're welcome.
Ray.
Thanks for having me.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks again for listening to Ref Time, powered by RefTrainingschool.com and Hoosier3on3.com. Produced by Coraggio Media, Ref Time is recorded in WELT Studios in beautiful downtown Fort Wayne, Indiana.
To join RTS, visit reftrainingschool.com. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Until next time.